southbound, I've been hellbound, riding on the midnight train. Going too fast now, think I'll slow down, standing in the pouring rain.
What's up, guys? Tristan and Tony back with another episode of the One Hell of a Life Outdoor Podcast, and all I know is squirrels don't exist, and we're going to check in with Tony as he's guiding for Delta Thunder Outfitters out in Arkansas. What's going on?
Whooping that ass.
You getting your butt whooped out there?
That ass.
Oh, you're whooping the geese's ass.
Yeah, we're whooping their ass.
Yeah, it seems like it's been picking up pretty good out there.
Yeah, just like I was saying in the last podcast, you go out, and I'll get to why my voice is so hoarse here in a minute, folks, but 6 people, you shoot 12, 15 snow geese, that's a good hunt. Not a great hunt, it's a good hunt. You go out and shoot 20, 30, that's a great hunt. You go out and shoot a spin, that's just stupid. And you know what? On the internet, all you do is see everybody's best. And we're all chasing that, right? We're all chasing that. We're duck hunting, chasing that day that you're out there in the timber and they're just breaking the sky and you can't believe what you're seeing. We're all chasing that, with the snows. And, I'm ready to talk about it tonight.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And, just from, you're looking at it from a whole different perspective now, that you've been guiding since what, last Thursday?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's been a week today. So what's been, some of the, has there been any like unforeseen challenges to live in the guide life, or, has it been kind of everything you expected? I mean, I know you were going out there expecting to, work hard just because of the relationship we have with Kade and, kind of firsthand, what goes into it, but yeah.
Well, let me tell you this. If somebody was to say to you, well, you could watch me do brain surgery and you could watch them do brain surgery 100 times.
Mm-hmm.
But whenever they hand over the operating tools and say, time to do brain surgery, it's a whole different ballgame.
Right, yeah.
And I'll tell you the biggest thing that was the number one challenge for everybody in this whole area in Northeast Arkansas, not just Delta, is that from February the 5th until last Saturday, goose hunting sucked.
Yeah.
But you talk to anybody in this area and they would tell you that they're seeing more geese than they've ever saw. I mean, old Mr. Glenn been here since the 60s. He says the most geese he's ever seen.
Yeah, I couldn't believe how many were out there when we were out there.
So what's the challenge with that? Everybody's going, oh yeah, when there's a lot of ducks, that's a great thing. When you got that many geese in one area, I've learned it's a terrible thing.
Yeah.
It's a terrible thing because, they're able to see for long distances. And if they have the opportunity to go to a feed you can see geese tornadoing, they're not stupid.
Right.
That's where they're going. And when you're up that high, like these geese are, just think about the miles you can see.
Mm-hmm.
And they get up and say they go 5 miles. Well, they're probably able to see that place they're going to feed for probably half their trip.
Yeah.
Or something, depending on how high they are.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, so that was the problem here, is that there was too many geese, and that's just straight from Kade's mouth, and I talked to some other guys, and they definitely said the same thing. But and then the other challenge is if you're 51 years old and you're in great shape for 51 years old.
Oh, I told somebody you were 52 today.
Well, I will be in about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
but quit trying to make your old man older.
Yeah.
I've walked almost 150 miles.
Holy cow.
And that's not because my truck broke down.
Yeah. You're not using your Chevrolets?
Yeah, I'm not using my Chevrolets.
Yeah.
Well, but no, it's a lot of work. It absolutely is. And, you're up, half hour, before your customers are.
Mm-hmm.
You're with them, and you might hunt all day.
How you doing on the sleep side of things? Is it catching up? Really? Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I'm gonna walk you down. I'm gonna walk you down the yellow brick road here in just a second. So, so yeah. So, and I knew I know what this is about.
Right.
And I've done a lot of professional guiding of whitetail deer and stuff. So I know from the role of a guide what's required of you. And that's being with your clients as much as possible. And then when you're not hunting with them, you want to hang out with them and help them enjoy the experience.
Right.
And that's a big part of it, and then by the time you get to bed, that experience usually involves having a couple bush lattes with your clients.
Yeah.
Of course, and I've since I've been here, I haven't slept more than 5 hours in one night.
Yeah.
And, you're basically working about 14 to 16 hours a day.
Right.
And, but you're doing what you love to do, and, I love to do it, coming out here. I said, my wife was just like, your mom, she's like, all right, are you really going out there? Is this like for real? Or are you just going out there to screw around?
Right. You're right.
Yeah. And I knew coming in, I'm like, there'll be those days, a few days where I'm just be like, dude, I don't care. I'll work freaking 24 hours a day. No matter. This is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But, no doubt, for those of you out there that do this and guide 60 days or 90 days, counting goose seasons, even closer to 100 days when you count the early spec, then you count the 60 days of duck, then you count the month and a half of really, here in Arkansas, your goose season, once they get to the middle of March, they're pretty much, in most cases, they're gone. So you got 6 weeks to hunt them, 7 weeks to hunt them. And, you are looking at 100 days. And my point is that these guys like Kade, you got to really love it.
Right.
And really, really love it. And so the one thing that, the different, you're talking about challenges and, not to draw this all out, but the point is the challenge really is the grind.
In the outdoors, every detail counts. See sharper, aim clearer. From the river's edge to the heart of the flooded timber, Hook and Bullet has your vision covered. Hook and Bullet's purpose-built optics are flawlessly crafted to give you an edge regardless of your outdoor pursuit. Use code ZeroDuck30 for 15% off a pair of Hook and Bullet sunglasses today.
Right.
It is the grind, but it makes me appreciate Kade and these guys and any of you out there that do this, because I can't imagine what it's like to do this for 100 days.
Right.
I mean, not only do you have to be a tough son of a bitch, man or woman, but you've got to love it.
Yeah.
And it really makes me, really love it. And, just like when we talk about state officials that are involved with waterfowl or biologists and everything else, we talked to Brad Cohen about that, and other folks that we've had on the podcast, and say, listen, you might see everything from the stands, but they really do love it. Like, love it.
Right.
To do what they do. And it just, that part of it for me, I've really realized, I was like, wow, when Kade says nothing makes me happier than put a smile on a customer's face, I really get it.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of work to get there. And that's not counting all the problems you deal with.
Right.
The best way I can say it is if you watched Gold Rush back in the day, I remember Mom saying one time, she's like, I'm not watching this show anymore. She goes, I go, why? She goes, because every time I watch this show, something's going wrong.
Yeah.
So, and it could be a side-by-side breaking down. It could be, the weather. You could, there's a lot of curveballs. So. Yeah,
no, absolutely. Well, on the fun side of things, you've had some good hunts, and it seems like the clients, it seems like the people you've been able to work with have been great for the most part.
They've been great. The customers, if you hunted with me this week, appreciate y'all so much. Thank you we had a great time. We had a great time, and we shot geese, and I think we shot 60 over the last 3 days.
Nice.
And had a lot of fun. I mean, a lot of fun from them making me go out and do a goose dance to, me having to them watching me run down a goose from about 800 yards, to you name it, and we've had a lot of fun, and I appreciate those folks so much. Thank you so much for coming out, and I can't wait to do it with you again. But no, we've had some great days, and it's interesting how different the geese can act day to day, or just even through the day.
Mm-hmm.
How they can act, and I've learned a lot, and I continue to learn a lot. Kade, he's so good at this stuff. He's such a student of it. He's just really good. And it's you just don't even realize like some of the little things, like when snow geese are out in the field, people drive by and go, "Hey, look at that feet! Look at that feet!" Well, the fact of the matter is, you got to look at their heads and see what they're doing. They're either loafing, feeding, or they're roosting. Mm-hmm. Now, most of y'all would think, well, like ducks, they go to the roost at night, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, geese do too, if they're on that pattern.
Yeah.
And that's been interesting to watch, how their pattern changes day to day, because, they could be roosting in the middle of the day. They could be roosting all morning, just depending on if they were out feeding all night or whatever. So, it's very interesting to see how that is, and the challenges that come with that, and how they shift and change, whenever, their habitats and, hunting pressure and everything else changes.
Right. Well, good. I mean, seems like it's been from a lot of different perspectives, a good trip for you. And I mean, you got 3 more days of hunting?
Yeah, I got another group, and we hunt them tomorrow. Nice. And so, yeah, we got them for 3 days.
Nice. Then back home to old Georgia.
Yep, back home to old Georgia, and I'm excited. I got a couple really good job opportunities that have been kind of brewing up, and progressing through those, and really excited about them. Hopefully I can work something out with them, and really excited about that. But
yeah,
no, man, this stuff out here, it's fun. It's fun. It's so much fun. So one point I was getting to, I said in the beginning of the podcast about my voice, the reason why, to give y'all proof that we've been shooting them in the face, it's from me going, "Shut up." And the last time I got this course of a voice was when I used to play football. I come home off of a football game, and sure enough, Saturday or Sunday, my voice was hoarse every week during football season.
That's funny. Well,
yeah.
I can tell you what you are not missing out on here, and that is squirrel hunting. Because
I know you got all prepped and real serious about it.
Yeah, did all this research, and I'm like, all right, we're gonna go out and squirrel hunt, and this is an area that we deer hunt in, and long story short, the area we wanted to go to, the gate was closed, and I also wanted to be in that area to try to scout for turkeys, and so that didn't work, and we went to the other area, and did what everyone says to do, take it slow, and you wait a half hour and watch. And there was one point I set up on a ridge, and I could see easily 100 yards, through this ridge, 360, almost, and I sat there for 20, 25 minutes, never saw a squirrel. So from what I have gathered, they say, the best time to hunt them is, when there's leaves on the trees, but the acorns are starting to fall, because you can kind of get them when they're, most active and getting food for the winter. And, but my problem with that is if that's, during that time, I want to be in a deer stand trying to shoot a deer. So maybe I'm just not cut out to be a squirrel hunter.
Well, I just got thinking as you're talking, I got laughing to myself. So imagine this, visualize this, everybody. You go into the greasy spoon after hunting in the morning, and every hunter in there is like, man, them squirrels weren't moving today at all. They just weren't. The weather pattern was off. The temperature dropped. I was waiting for a cold front for these squirrels to get moving. But they do that. And squirrels do the same shit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they do. They do their patterns, and just like any other animal. But no, they're tough to hunt. I mean, you go out there, and if they're just resting, what are you gonna? I mean, I know what you're feeling. You just go out there and you're not seeing crap, and you're like, dude, there's no way. I've hunted this area all the time during deer season. All I want to do is throw rocks at these little bastards, and then it's like they don't exist.
Yeah, it's like it's funny how many people say the same thing, and it's like common knowledge that when you're deer hunting, the squirrels will be there, and then when you're squirrel hunting, the deer will be there, or you're just not going to see squirrels. So
that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
But no, it's good getting out in the woods, and that's about to come to an end, and then turkey is kind of the next thing, like we talked about last time.
Yep.
Williamson Outfitters, located along the beautiful Gulf Coast of Florida, is a premier guide service with lodging that provides incredible coastal duck hunting, gator hunting, fishing, gigging, scalping, and custom boat tours along Florida's forgotten coast. They are family owned and operated with over 200 years of combined experience hunting and fishing along this incredible stretch of Florida. Captain Chris Williamson runs a first-class operation. Fishing charters typically consist of inshore and nearshore fishing, targeting species such as tripletail, redfish, trout, mahi-mahi, also known as dolphin fish, shark, flounder, sheepshead, black drum, snapper, jacks, and mackerel. On a coastal duck hunt, you have an incredible chance at many rare species of diver ducks and several puddle duck species. Starting today, Chris is giving out a special offer for all One Hell of a Life listeners. 15% off springtime inshore fishing charters and flounder gigging trips when you type 0duck15 in the comments section at checkout. Offer ends March 31st. And if you're ready to chase some ducks, booking is now available for the 24-25 duck season. Book your trip online at www.floridaducks.com or text Captain Chris at 850-251-8650.
And so you guys went out and did some trout fishing, did you?
Yeah. So, Georgia, so check this out. This is pretty interesting. So Georgia stocks 1 million fish per year, trout per year, between browns and rainbows throughout their streams. And you can sign up on Georgia DNR's website to get like the stocking emails, and they'll, tell you what streams and rivers or whatever they stock and when they stock them. And then I was also reading that I want to say that I hope I'm getting it right, but I want to say that $100 million comes into Georgia's economy because of trout fishing. And there was, I got to pull this up real quick because I want to get this right for y'all. But yeah, just one second, guys. Bear with me here. So I want to get these stats right because I thought it was pretty crazy. Right, and watch, I won't be able to find it. Wait, it's gonna be under. Looking at the wrong person. Getting there. I'm telling you, these facts are gonna be worth it if I can find them.
Right on.
But I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find them. Okay, well, forget about it. I'm not going to keep boring y'all, but basically, yeah, it said something like $100 million is, what the trout fishing gig brings in the state of Georgia. And I just thought it was really interesting how big of an industry it is. And there's 100,000 trout licenses sold every year. I do remember that. And man, that's a lot of people. I mean, if you think about it, 100,000 licenses in a state for trout fishing. So, I
wonder what percentage of that is the we have to get somebody on the podcast that manages their fisheries for Georgia, but I wonder what percentage that is of total fishing licenses sold. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. No, I'd be interested to know, but Yeah,
the
it's
demographics.
it's surprising how big of a gig it is here. But we went out to this spot that you can see. Part of it is a stream. Like there's a bridge, and on one side of the bridge, it's what they call delayed harvest. And during this time of year, I think until May, you can't keep any of your trout that you catch. But on the other side of the bridge, it says that's where they stock them and stuff, and you can keep whatever you catch. But I also heard that until the temperatures start to heat up a little bit, trout are real they're kind of like lethargic, like they're just not real motivated to like be aggressive, I guess, after getting after food. So they're a little bit harder to catch right now. And we learned and tried a few different things, and that water though is just so beautiful, and I definitely.
What river were you guys on?
We went to Amicola Creek is what we went to.
Oh, okay. Which is basically a river.
Yeah. When that's creek, don't picture a creek, picture a river when you look at it, and it roars too. But it was a good time. I definitely, now I got a fishing set up and stuff. I want to do that a few times this summer and see if I can get some trout. So.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so that was a good time, and that's kind of probably the last outdoor thing I'm going to do for a while until we turkey hunt, which is going to be another 2 or 3 weeks. But I think April 6th is when it opens for Georgia.
April 6th.
Yep, for public land. Private land it opens like the last week of March, I think. So
I guess that's when Mom starts getting mad at me again.
Yeah. Yeah. Now it's like the turkey hunting's added to the repertoire of things that we do. So,
Mom's like, "Are you shitting me?" I'm like, "Nope."
Yeah. I know. It's like it really, truly doesn't end. You can always find something to keep yourself busy as an outdoorsman if you're motivated to.
Heck yeah.
Yep.
Definitely.
Yep.
Definitely.
Yep. So. But yeah, that's pretty much all I had as far as kind of updates. Do you have anything, Dad? Or
no, not really. I mean, outside the fact that like I said in the last podcast, if you haven't snow goose hunted,
mm-hmm.
you need to do it. You need to call Kade, and you need to get it figured out like now,
mm-hmm.
because he's going to book up. I mean, we're running. The other day we were running 18 people a day.
Yeah,
and that's a lot of people. Could he take 36? Yeah, he could. But you know what? At that point, you're taking away from the customer's experience.
Yeah.
Because there's no way you can manage that, right?
Right.
So he's got a limit on how many people that he'll take, to ensure he's doing the best to give you a good experience. And he really, I mean, in a lot of ways, he books up quicker with snow goose than he does on duck.
Yeah.
Because it's just, there's a lot of, it's a growing sport. We need to shoot him in the face. There's a conservation season.
We need to shoot him in the face.
Yeah, we do. And, them some bitches, man. Listen, before we get out of here, I'm going to talk about, if you have hunted these suckers, let's go down a little rabbit hole here. So if you've hunted them, I'm going to talk about probably the top 5 things that make you want to go shoot their whole family. All right. Number 1, when they hang up on you got this big group coming in, right? And you're like, oh, that's what we all do. Oh, get down, shut up. And the hide's so important stuff, and I'm constantly telling people, get down, make sure you're covered up, especially if we're laying in the socks, which is my favorite way to hunt them personally.
Yeah.
Because to me, unless you have some kind of natural, truly natural area for hiding,
mm-hmm.
To me, that's the best hide where you can truly hide everybody. But when they hang up, and so. Yeah, the other morning we had them hanging up, and I went out and changed some things. We were running. And I think this is important. I didn't think about getting into this, but it's important to tell you kind of what are we running out there? We run spreads from pretty much about 2,500 to upward of 6,000. Mm-hmm. Do you need that many if you want to get into the sport? No. but you're gonna need, I'd say, a good 1,000, right? But you got all these decoys out there, and think about our duck spreads. You know how we're like, hey, 2 passes on it, and they're not working, something's not right. Now imagine having to make that shift when you got 5,500 decoys out there.
Yeah.
Right. So you're thinking of ways when you set up that, hey, when I get these challenges, how can I change this but keep it manageable, right?
Right.
One thing Kay keeps telling me a lot is he just says, don't overthink it. He goes, I know you're so OCD, Tony, but don't overthink it.
Yeah.
They're the smartest dumb goose. But so yesterday, let me just walk you through what we were doing. So first, let me get through that. Hanging up is one, right?
Mm-hmm.
We all know it. If you hunt in Arkansas and you hunt pintails, what do they do, Tristan?
Oh yeah, they give you a couple looks and then they keep getting higher and higher and then they leave.
Yep.
Do you want coffee that doesn't suck? Get the Duck. Dirty Duck coffee is made specifically for the waterfowl enthusiast. Enjoy flavors like Morning Wood, Dark Dynasty, Cinnamon Teal Snickerdoodle, and First Flight to unlock the flavor that you'll enjoy in the blind for years to come. Our friends at Dirty Duck Coffee Company are now offering all Zero Duck 30 followers a 15% discount when you use code ZeroDuck15 on your next order.
And they're right out of Sky Blast range, right?
Yep.
That's exactly what the geese do. The geese, we were in the on the backboards inside the decoys,
Mm-hmm.
and they're just doing that crap. You coming around, and you're just like, dude, this is the most beautiful spread ever. Why would you not love it? You know what I mean? But so that's number 2, is that, and then number 3 is, are they going to move?
Right.
What if, like an example of yesterday, there was this feed going on with probably 300 to 400,000,
Mm-hmm.
and just stupid amount. I mean, this is epic levels of any animal. And, those suckers were over there and they were feeding all day long. Then you're thinking, oh man, it's going to be great. Well, the 4 days prior to that, we didn't see hardly a goose after 5:30.
Wow.
And it gets dark at, I think last shooting light was like 6:20 or something like that. And so last night I told the clients, I said, hey, I go, it was like 10 after 4. I go, we don't see anything moving by 5:30. What do y'all think? And they're like, no, they haven't been moving late. They're like, all right. Well then, freaking, we tell Kade to come out and pick us up at 5:30.
Yeah.
He rolls up at 5:30, and what starts happening?
Oh, they start flying.
Dude, and I'm telling you, from 2:00 until 5:30, we only saw 150 geese. Now, I'm not counting the ones that we see over on the different hemisphere.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you look over the tree line, you can barely see them. I don't count that as seeing geese, because those geese are never going to give you a look.
Right.
They can't see. I'm talking about geese that would give us a look. They were close enough to give us a look.
Yeah.
We would see 150. And the customers were like, what's going on? I was like, they're just not flying right now. That's what they're doing. They're part, a lot of them are part of that big feed, which is still several miles away from us.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and so sure enough, we get back to where we parked at, and there's these silos and stuff. And here comes a group of about 70, 80 birds, and they're power pole height.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, dude, they come over the top of the freaking silos, and Kade's like, load your guns. And Kade just goes running like a Vietnam veteran, bro. He just goes running to his truck and just grabs his gun, throws 2 shells in that sucker. And I mean, he ran to his truck while everybody else still had their guns in their hand. Ran to his truck, threw 2 shells in it, and shot before anybody else did.
Oh my God.
Dude, and he rocks this freaking goose, and it falls and smashes off his hood and almost freaking hit the customer's car.
No way.
Yeah, he rocked it. Dude, he rocked it. And we're all just standing there just giggling our asses off. I mean, we're loading side by side and stuff.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Yeah. But they were going to light our spread so bad. I mean, it was going to be a freaking, oh, dude, they were going to do it. But yeah, so, but you know, that's the thing is, you know, that's a great example is, you know, I was explaining to my customers, I'm like, you know, like to make a fire, right? You got to have your fuel, which is your wood or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you got damp wood and you try to burn that, you ain't going to have a very good fire. You're going to have good smolder, you know, if it's not windy. And I'm talking about like, say, a fire, you know, like say a brush fire or something like that, you know, for it to really grow, it's got to have oxygen. You know, you got to still have oxygen for your, you know, any fires you're burning, but so you got to have that right. So you got to have those things right. And, you know, you can have like yesterday, we had a north wind, which is great. We had a wind of probably a constant of 15 to 18, which was great because your socks are out there looking like they're geese dancing in a field. And then, you know, so you're like, all right, and it's sunny. And you're like, dude, this is great.
Right.
And then to sit there for 3 hours and see 150 geese when in this area, it's not uncommon to see 100,000. You know, that I'm talking about 100,000 that you think it could work you. But you can sit there sometimes all morning long and you see them, you know, coming low enough. They're not migrators. They're coming low enough to give you a look. And no matter what you do, they're just not going to do it.
Right.
You know, and you're like scratching your head. So, you know, so we were dealing with yesterday and we ended up shooting like 11, I think, in the morning. But, you know, I started figuring out real quick that these suckers are going to just hang up in the wind right above where we have everybody laid out. Now, what also works to your advantage with layouts, I mean, with backboards and laying in the socks, is that you make the socks thicker to keep you covered up, right?
Yeah.
Well, when geese feed, they feed into the wind. All right. The leading edge. So imagine the tip of an arrow. You got this, or just a triangle. Now, the triangle is where the geese are going. All right. That's the leading edge of food that has not been eaten yet. Well, the geese all get all, you know, freaking butt hurt against each other and stuff. And they're just all like, dude, I'm getting that. No, you're getting that. I'm getting that. You know, they're trying to survive and they're frantically, you know, trying to be at the best food before it gets picked. So what happens? They naturally thicken up. So that's what I love about that setup. And so they kept coming in and they would come in, not big groups. I'm talking 1 to 6. They come in and they'd get right there. I'd say probably about, I don't know, 50 yards in the air. And they get right there and they'd hang up and just sit there and flutter and hang up and go give you a circle and another look and hang up there again. And so finally I'm like, dude, if that goose does that one more time, we're just rocking them, you know, because I'm trying to, you know, just like duck hunting, I'm trying to set the perfect shot. I'm trying to set them up for them to be dead center, up, you know, 30-yard shot, you know, is what we're trying to get right there at a 45-degree angle, basically, or less. And so we just had to take what we could get. And, you know, if you don't notice that, if you're not paying attention to that as a guide, I could see somebody going from, you know, 0 to 0 real quick.
Right.
You know, because you don't pick up on that. You know, you're not seeing, you're not studying what you're doing. You could really easily go, oh, they just ain't working. You know, but sometimes you got to take what you got. Well, so when we went back out in the afternoon, I made some adjustments. And so number one,
It's in the teens that morning, and maybe you're chasing ducks or geese. But now it's September and it's 85 degrees and you're hunting early teal or geese. As a waterfowler, you need dependable weather protection that will not break the bank. Founded in 1996, Frog Togs is not only the leader in breathable wader technology, but a company you can depend on to keep you warm and dry, head to toe, no matter your hunting environment. Stay bone dry by using discount code ZD315 for 15% off not only your first purchase, like most discount codes, but how about every single purchase you make from now until December 31st, 2024?
The thing I did is I looked at it through the, if a goose is coming in at the angle that they're coming in at and just slowly floating down on that last turn, what's the angle they're seeing you at, right? So if you're, imagine this, you're laying underneath all these socks, it's real good to cover, it's real easy to cover you up from straight up and down, looking down at you.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look at an angle, I mean, like I looked and I was like, man, maybe I need to stack more socks in the front of all these people, just because this isn't a bean field specifically. And here in Arkansas, they mound when they plant the beans because they channel water to them.
Mm.
And so you have all these little mounds that are 6 inches tall, basically about a truck width, a side by side width apart. And so anyway, I started looking at that and I was like, man, that doesn't look good, so another adjustment. So I went in there, did all that. Well, the other thing is I was like, okay, well, we were running a rotary machine with 2 geese on it, and we were running 4 clones.
Mm.
Clones are basically what they are. What they say is it's the most realistic thing that technology's got to make it look like your goose is flying.
Right.
And they have machines to make them, sway back and forth and all this stuff. But anyway, I said, well, the way the wind is it had switched from dead south. No, it switched from southeast to dead south. Well, when it was southeast, I had it over like towards the way the setup, if you can imagine this, I had the clones over in the left side of this hole, which basically it wasn't this way specifically, but kind of like a little U shape, right? And at the bottom of the U, that's where all your hunters are at. That's where it's the thickest. That's the leading edge of the feeding.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was like, man, maybe these geese are like, dude, that's not where I would finish. I would finish more here to the right because the wind had shifted, right? So I was like, I don't know. And you know what? I might be talking on my ass right now, to be honest with you. But here's what happened. I took that. I fixed the thing with everybody looking down at an angle, make sure they couldn't see the feet, legs, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But then I took those clones and I moved them exactly dead into the wind. I mean, exactly dead into the wind. And bro, last night, every bird that came in did it dirty. Every single one. That's
awesome.
Yeah, and we just rocked them. Now, it might not have do anything. Maybe it's just them being weird.
Right.
When they were hanging up, they were hanging up on Moe's too, on a totally different spread. So, but whatever, it sure didn't make me look good. That's the thing.
Hey, yeah, you try enough things, bound to get something that they like, or like you said, it could be happenstance.
Yeah, yep, and and then just to kind of talk about some of the fun things that we did in the blind, we the geese weren't flying very good last night, and so the clients told me I had to get out in the killing hole and do a goose dance.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to get out there and flap like a goose. But here's what I did. I was out there acting. They told me, give us a spin. So I'm out there running in the hole, swaying my arms like a goose, and I'm running around the hole. And you know how like when it's windy, Tristan, and when they make that turn, they have to go downwind real fast, and then they come back around real slow.
Mm-hmm.
They just kind of tuck their wings and just soar. I did that, and they all started freaking crying, laughing. And and Carson goes, so I got dead center in the hole. And Carson goes, or no, one of the customers said, "Shoot him!" And so they were like, "Pow, pow, pow, pow," and I just flopped and died right there in the middle of the hole.
That's hilarious. Yeah, that's not too many guides are gonna give you that performance.
So we made the best of it. It was fun. But no, I just I can't believe I didn't think about that before we got on this podcast. But I just wanted to talk about some of those things because those are great examples of the challenges that we've had and the adjustments you have to make to try to make it work.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yep.
So Kade's doing a test thing tomorrow. He called it his guinea pig spread.
Mm.
He just invested in let's see, how many dozen did he get? 120 dozen, something like that. It was a whole trailer, like probably 6 foot tall, and a big trailer, like one of the big ones they does the side by sides on.
Yeah.
That was probably 5 foot tall, packed all the way full of full bodies.
Holy cow.
Yeah. So we went out and put that out tonight, and man, people are going to go by that and go, "Dude, look at the feed!" And they look so good. They're these Dakota makes them.
Oh, nice.
Really sharp. So he's got that set up on a winter wheat field tomorrow, and he's going to go test that out and see how the birds are working in that area. And if he gets stupid, he's going to probably call me and say, "Get the customers and get the hell over here right now."
Yeah.
So anyway, but
good,
yeah, man,
good deal.
I got 3 days left, and we hope to make the best of it. And if the weather, all the pieces of the fire work, we will thunder their ass.
Well, good. I hope you guys get the Delta Thunder going. Thunderous shotguns going off this weekend, and yeah, I hope it ends with a bang for your time there in Delta Thunder.
Yep. No, and we got on the next podcast. We'll talk about how we finished up and stuff like that. But yeah, man, now I'm just I gotta go in here and do laundry and get some bedding ready for some customers, and still got to work. It's 8:43. I have Kade bringing me food and having this podcast with you, so multitasking a bunch of crap.
There you go.
And I might get to bed at 11, and we're going to be after at 5 o'clock. So I'm excited about getting 6 hours sleep tonight.
Nice. Well, right on. Well, good luck with all that. And, that's really all I had. Do you have anything else?
Snow goose hunting is one hell of a life.
Well, all right, guys. Well, thank you for tuning into another episode. And, he said it best. One hell of a life.
I've been southbound, I've been hellbound, riding on the midnight train. Going too fast now, think I'll slow down, standing in the pouring rain.